kind of interesting. But yeah, the engine's nice and torquey at low speeds. Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video, I'm reviewing a 2022 Toyota Tacoma SR5. First and foremost, so a huge shout out and thank you to the Brent Brown Toyota here in Orem, Utah for giving me some time with this Tacoma. Check out the inventory in the description down below. They have obviously the new Toyotas and then a bunch of pre-owned inventory as well. And then on a side note, if you want to save time money the next time purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. Let's get into the review. So under the hood, we have a naturally aspirated 3.5 liter V6 that goes through a 6-speed automatic transmission. Fuel economy is 19 around town and then 24 on the highway, with power outputs being 278 horsepower and then 265 pound-feet of torque. Let's go over the front end of the SR5. So first off, you can see this one is in metallic gray for the color. And you have the normal Tacoma hood here, and then notice the body painted element continues here onto part of the front grille. You've got the chrome accenting all around with the gigantic Toyota logo. And then you guys can see here with the halogen lights, and then notice fog lights down below. And then we have the air dam here at the very bottom. And, you know, it's got normal Tacoma styling. Coming around the side here, we've got two 45mm tires wrapped around 16-inch wheels in the front and over in the rear as well. And then notice how the wheels are all blacked out. They definitely have a cool design touch, and that's one of the benefits to going to the SR5 is you do get cooler wheels. And then here's a quick look at the tires, front suspension, and then notice here with the fender flare. This particular truck is two-wheel drive, by the way, if you guys are wondering. Got the Tacoma logo right there, SR5 badge there on the back. And then here's your full side view, which, you know, has really nice stance actually. And then popping here to the rear, you guys can see the leaf springs here in the back, and then the shock as well. So here's our key fob. We have our unlock and our lock, and then the remote start. We have a payload capacity of 1,200 pounds. Notice we got the slow lower tailgate as well. And then you guys can see here, this one has the composite bed. Notice we've got the LED lights here on either side, and then you can see here we have the mat as well. And you know, storage space is actually really solid here with the Tacoma, which is great. And then when you're done lifting this up, it's pretty easy. Here's the rear of the truck. You guys can see here with the taillights that come with the Tacoma. Parking sensors here on the rear end with the receiver hitch there at the bottom. Tacoma stamped here into the tailgate. Chrome bumper. Pretty simple, and you know, I like the design. Okay, so sorry for the angle. My camera's not waterproof, so I have to do it this way. Anyways, you guys can see there with the padding on the side of the door panel, and then also the door handle itself, and then your window control right there, a couple cup holders down below, and sitting here inside, notice we got the little rubber floor mat. Space, you know, it's okay. And then you can see a couple of cup holders right there, and then here's what the door looks like while it's closed. And then here's a quick look at the window. It looks like you can, I'm not sure if it's fixed or not. It's kind of hard to tell. I don't see any latch or anything, but it looks like it could be opened. Anyways, let's pop to the front. So here is our front door panel. You guys can see again with the padding, you've got your door handle right there. We've got all of our window controls. You've got that for the mirror adjustment, and we're gonna kind of close this a little bit to kind of minimize the rain. Anyways, there's the pedal layout just down below. You can see here for the lights, and then the cargo light stability control right there. Steering wheel is manually adjustable. Got this vent here off to the side, and there you go. Now here is the steering wheel. You can see the padding here at the top and then at the bottom, and then notice here it's perforated on the side so you get a little bit of a better grip. We've got our volume controls here with the voice command controls, phone controls down below. And then you guys can see the cruise control stalk right there, and then the lane departure and everything right next to it. Pages button here, and then controls for the center stack, and well, there's the steering wheel. Also, of course, I almost forgot, turn signal light stock, windshield wiper stock, and here is the center gauge cluster. Analog gauges on either side, and then we do have the screen here in the center, which you can scroll through a few different menus to see different bits of info here on the truck, and then you guys can see here with the other menus that you can scroll through. Pretty normal stuff from that perspective, and there you go. Now here's the infotainment system. First off, we pop it into reverse. There's your backup camera. Notice the trajectory lines do not turn as you turn the steering wheel. And then going to the rest of the infotainment system, first off, response time here with these buttons is actually really good. And then also with the screen itself, response time when you press the functions, it takes a second for certain screens to load up. But I mean, the button at least responds quick enough. I like how you have analog controls there on either side, and it's nicely integrated here into the dash with vents there on either side. Now down below, we've got dual zone climate controls here, which is definitely a nice feature to have. We have our ECT power button, parking sensors, and I'm an idiot. It's a power window. I guess I just wasn't expecting this because this is more of like a baseline truck, and so that's pretty impressive that even, you know, the lower down packages in the Tacoma have power windows. Wow. Anyways, charging ports right there, and then you can see extra storage space, a couple cup holders. And then here's the shifter. I love how you have like the red here on the shifter and this TRD logo right there. And then you guys can see here with the gear selection. And then there's a couple more cup holders. And then we have the center console right there. And then we have our glove box as well. And then you can see there's some padding on the dash. And then popping up here to the very top, we've got a regular mirror here, sunglass holder, and then lighter colored headliner. So here's our window sticker for this 2022 Tacoma, again 4x2. You guys can see here with the standard equipment with the truck full tank of gas as well. Notice the base MSRP there, $32,780. Now I think this is hilarious that this has a TRD shift knob because it looks really cool, but at the same time, this is a two-wheel drive truck. This is probably never going to be taken off-road, and yet it has TRD stuff in it. I don't know. 16-inch alloy black wheels, definitely worth getting. I will say that. Definitely recommend getting that. And anyways, $36,417 is the total price on this particular truck. Let's see how it drives. So let's talk about visibility before we set off. Here's your visibility of the hood, both of the mirrors, and throughout the rest of the rear. And let's set off. So we are initially setting off here in the SR5, and I guess it's perfect that it's raining today because we get to see if you really need 4x4 with this truck. Now obviously, you know, with the rain, that's not as crazy as something like snow or sand or, you know, rocks and all that kind of stuff. But you know what? I think this is, you know, better than nothing. First off, I want to talk about seat comfort a little bit. So bolstering these seats is really nice. Cloth seats, they are on the firmer side of things, but overall, I think they're actually pretty comfortable to sit in. No complaints there. And getting up and moving, got that torquey V6. 6-speed automatic's actually relatively smooth with the gear shifts, which is a big plus. Okay, I understand, sorry. Anyways, continuing along. Steering, it's got normal Tacoma steering, so I'm trying to see if there's a difference between this and a 4-wheel drive model in terms of the steering feel. Not really feeling a difference. It feels like normal Tacoma vagueness, and you guys can see just how like, I know that if you live on the East Coast, this doesn't look crazy to you, but this is a lot for Utah. Utah usually doesn't have like any rain, or if it rains, it's just a light drizzle. So the fact that it's raining this much is just kind of strange. But yeah, it's smooth. So the dampening's also a big plus. See, kind of going through this stuff. Yeah, I think it's great. I'm not really noticing, I mean, again, this isn't like perfect conditions to test out the driveline system, but I'm not really noticing a downside with this over a 4x4 Tacoma in these conditions, at least. But I will say it doesn't really feel like it drives different. Like, you know, since it doesn't have 4x4, right, it should have a lighter front end, but it doesn't feel any different. So really what you're doing is you're just saving on cost, and especially if you live in a place that does not, you know, require you to have 4x4 at all. Of course, like, look at this, it's not raining here. See, if this was the East Coast, like, the entire state would be just, you know, completely enclosed in a massive cloud, and it would be like horrible high-speed winds and crazy amounts of rain. But no, here it's like it's raining over here and it's not raining over there. It's kind of interesting. But yeah, the engine's nice and torquey at low speeds. The only time this engine really doesn't feel like enough is when you're on the highway and you want to kind of pass someone. That's where this V6 does kind of feel a little bit on the slow side of things, but that is, you know, pretty much every single mid-size truck out there. And so let's sum things up here with this, you know, V6 Tacoma SR5, you know, a base model-ish Tacoma, not quite the base model. I will be doing a review on a base model in the near future. But anyways, from an exterior aesthetics perspective, I think this is the way to go if you're gonna get a lower down package Tacoma with the black wheels, because it still looks good. This is a good looking truck. Whereas the base model, on the other hand, not so much. And you guys will see that with that review. And then from an interior perspective, I mean, this has a lot of amenities. Dual zone climate, power sliding window. It's got a nice infotainment system. Like, I don't know, this is actually a very nice interior, all things considered. And then, you know, from a price point perspective, it's, well, it's less than $40,000, and which is in today's market is actually very inexpensive. So yeah, if you basically, and you could add, you know, 4x4 to this, and it would be a little bit more expensive, but not way, you know, a massive amount more expensive. But basically, if you just want a good, solid, reliable pickup truck that has, you know, pretty much everything you need and doesn't really have any like luxury frills that just aren't all that important, then that's what this gives you. And I mean, this is so much more affordable than something like a Tier D Pro that's like $50,000. And so this is definitely the everyman's Tacoma, is what we will call it. That's gonna sum things up for our video on this 2022 Toyota Tacoma SR5. Again, a huge shout out and thank you to the Brent Brown Toyota here in Orem, Utah for giving me some time with this Tacoma. Check out the inventory in the description down below. I'll see all of you in the next video.